This whole year we have admitted just over 1,000 animals, and almost half of those have been in the last 4 weeks alone. So it really does get completely insane. We are filled with squirrels. We have about 80, so these guys are working their way through the system.
Nurturing wild young is a sensitive process. Rehabilitators must care for their needs while maintaining a certain detachment to ensure the animal will still be able to function on its own once released. For example, baby squirrels are hand-fed multiple times a day, but as they grow older, they experience less and less interaction with their caregivers and are eventually put into a controlled outdoor environment where they can develop skills necessary for surviving in the wild.
This is the final stage of squirrel rehabilitation. So these big cages allow the squirrels to get a lot of exercise, to jump around, to jump onto a branch and experience how it moves so that they have balance when they go out into the wild. All of the squirrels are released with a squirrel box, and they have that to help transition.
Possum numbers are a close second to the squirrel population, and the more the center learns about them, the more they reveal themselves as nocturnal superheroes.
They are probably responsible for helping to control the tick population because they keep themselves so incredibly clean. So when they clean themselves, they ingest those parasites, process them, and remove them from the environment. There's just recently been a study about their resilience to snake bites. There's a possibility of like a universal anti-venom thanks to possums.
In addition to caring for orphaned or abandoned young, the center provides medical care. Most injuries to wildlife are a result of human negligence or interference, from lawnmowers and cars to outdoor pets.
So she's trimming away the fur so she can get to the degloving wound. Their skin tears really easily, and it's sort of a mechanism of defense because they can generally get away from a predator, but it can't be sutured, so we do just a topical treatment for them when they have that degloving wound, and it heals pretty well.
The Wildlife Rescue Center's mission is to rehabilitate and release these animals, while at the same time educating the public on simple ways that they can prevent having a negative impact on wildlife.
The number one problem that we see is abduction with intent to rescue, which is an example of humans intervening when they shouldn't be. The most common misconceptions that we see, number one, is that if you see a wild baby alone, then it must be orphaned. If it wasn't orphaned, then the mother or the father or both would be right there. And that is not the case. In the wildlife world, lots of species don't have the father of the species that helps take care of the babies. So you've got these mothers, they leave their babies alone while they go out in order to find food and find water. They have all kinds of different methods for keeping the babies safe while they're gone. Some are hidden. In a natural environment, these animals would be very well camouflaged, but because the environment that they have to choose from is mostly front yards and backyards, sometimes they stick out more than we think that they should, and we assume that something must be wrong when it's really not the case. Right now we are getting many calls every day about people coming across fawns with no mother in sight. People feel compelled to intervene, and when they do, we always tell them to put it right back where it came from. It is actually going to harm that animal to remove it from that environment. We are only going to intervene if all possibilities of leaving that wild family intact have been completely exhausted. People will also call us because they've seen an animal in their neighborhood and they want us to come and get it and take it to the country. There are country possums and there are city possums, and country raccoons and city raccoons. The animals that live in the city and the urban areas are adapted to that, and that's where they need to stay. Box turtles specifically, it is important not to move them away from their home range because they know where everything is there. They know where their water is, where their food is, where their hibernation area is, where they're going to be able to find their mates. And if you move them away from that area, they are going to try to get back home. So it's best to just move them across the road in the direction that they were headed. They've likely been living there for years and years and have successfully negotiated that road before and will hopefully successfully negotiate it the next time.
Funded only by donations and largely maintained by volunteers, the Wildlife Rescue Center is a true community effort.
We absolutely rely on our volunteers to do the majority of the hands-on animal work. When we have hundreds of animals to take care of and feed, and cages to clean, and laundry to do, and diets to prepare, we would absolutely not be here without our volunteers. Our staff began working here as volunteers as well.
Volunteers also play a vital role in helping the community better understand the wildlife in their immediate area.
When people call us, they've seen an animal and they're concerned, we get all of the details of the situation so that we can help them make a decision that's going to be in their best interest and the best interest of the animal. There is a lot of work going into trying to figure out how we can do that better. Wild fostering is a very exciting topic right now in wildlife rehabilitation. You might see a pair of Canadas that have 30 goslings behind them. We know that not all those babies are theirs. And we have in the past here at the Wildlife Center been able to give Canada goslings to parents that already have babies and they accept them. We have successfully wild fostered baby rabbits to nests that were actually on the property of staff members. We're hopeful that we might be able to do the same thing with fawns.
We can always use help, so anybody interested, in helping with this situation, come on down.
And you don't have to particularly have a background in wildlife.
No background, just a desire to do it.
The idea of helping wildlife and returning to their natural habitat, making up for some of the things that humans do to them, just seemed like an awesome thing to do. Like a calling, I guess, more than even a hobby.